On a warm summer evening in Lubbock, the sky looked completely normal. It was late August of 1951 and the city was calm. Families were inside their homes, the streets were quiet, and the stars were beginning to appear in the dark Texas sky. Nothing about that night suggested that something strange was about to happen. But before the night was over, the people of Lubbock would witness something that would remain unexplained for decades. The mystery that would later be called the Lubbock Lights began with a small group of professors. Several scientists from Texas Technological College were sitting outside one evening, relaxing and talking after dinner. They often gathered like this to discuss science, weather, and the stars above them. Because of their work, these men were used to studying the sky and noticing unusual things. While they were talking, one of the professors suddenly paused. Something in the sky caught his attention. Moving quickly above them was a formation of bright lights. At first, it almost looked like a group of stars that had suddenly started moving. But as they watched more closely, they realized the lights were arranged in a very specific pattern, a V shape, similar to how birds sometimes fly together during migration. But these lights were not birds. The glowing objects were bright, bluish-white, and they moved smoothly across the sky at high speed. The strange part was that there was no sound at all. No engines, no wings, nothing, just silent lights gliding through the darkness. The professors watched in complete silence as the lights crossed the sky and disappeared into the distance. At first, they wondered if it might be some natural phenomenon. Perhaps reflections of stars, or maybe even birds reflecting light from the city below. But before they could fully understand what they had seen, the lights appeared again. Once again, the same V-shaped formation moved across the sky. This time, the professors paid very close attention. They counted the lights, estimated their speed, and watched how the formation stayed perfectly organized while moving. Some of them later said there were around 20 to 30 individual lights, all moving together like a perfectly coordinated group. The sight was so unusual that the professors immediately began discussing what it could be. Because they were scientists, they tried to approach the situation logically. But none of their explanations seemed to fully match what they had just witnessed. Soon, the story spread across Texas. At first, many people thought the professors might have misunderstood what they saw. But then something surprising happened. Other residents of Lubbock started reporting the same thing. People from different neighborhoods began looking up at the night sky and seeing the same strange formation of lights moving silently overhead. Some witnesses said the lights appeared several times during the night, always flying in the same V-shaped pattern. The reports quickly began increasing. Within days, dozens of people had come forward saying they saw the exact same lights. Some described them as glowing dots moving like a flock. Others said they looked like small flying discs reflecting light. But almost every witness agreed on three things. The lights moved very fast. They formed a V shape and they were completely silent. Then the mystery became even bigger. A college student named Carl Hart Jr. managed to capture photographs of the lights. One night, after hearing the reports, he waited outside his home with a camera. When the lights appeared again, he quickly took several pictures as they passed over the city. The photographs clearly showed a curved line of glowing lights forming the same V-shaped pattern people had been describing. These images were soon published in newspapers across the United States. Suddenly, the strange lights over Lubbock were no longer just a local story. They had become a national mystery. People across the country began discussing the photographs and wondering what the lights could be. Because the sightings were becoming so widely known, the United States Air Force decided to investigate. At the time, the military had a special investigation program known as Project Blue Book, which studied reports of unidentified flying objects. Investigators interviewed witnesses, studied the photographs, and examined the descriptions given by the professors and other residents. They tried to determine whether the lights could have been aircraft, weather balloons, or some type of atmospheric phenomenon. One possible explanation suggested the lights were actually birds, specifically plovers, flying in formation. According to this theory, the birds might have been reflecting light from the new streetlights installed around Lubbock, making them appear like glowing objects in the sky. While this explanation sounded reasonable to some people, many witnesses were not convinced. The professors who first saw the lights strongly doubted the bird theory. They believed the lights were moving much faster and flying much higher than birds normally would at night. They also pointed out that the lights appeared extremely bright and organized in a way that seemed too perfect for a group of birds. Another strange detail continued to bother investigators. The lights made no sound at all. Even if they were aircraft, people should have heard engines. But witnesses reported complete silence every time the lights passed overhead. For several weeks, sightings continued around Lubbock. People kept watching the sky, hoping to see the mysterious lights again. Some residents even gathered outside at night just in case the formation returned. Then, just as suddenly as the sightings had begun, they stopped. The lights disappeared. No more reports came in. The sky returned to normal, and life in Lubbock slowly went back to the way it was before. But the mystery remained. The photographs still existed. The witness reports were recorded and studied. And the story of the strange lights continued to fascinate people across the country. Even today, the Lubbock Lights are considered one of the most famous unexplained aerial sightings in American history.